Say hi when you pop in. Let me know where you're from. I'd love to hear how many different places in this world where people pop in and say hello to me. For the most of you who have been with me, you know, most of you on my lives, and you're not here yet, but give them a minute. They pop in right away. Oh, Owen's here. Owen's here already. And I expect that Andrew's not too far behind. Oh my goodness. God forbid that one of these guys didn't show up. It would make all of us really, really nervous, wouldn't it? And, in actuality, I'm going to say, hi, Andrew. Andrew's in here too. Andrew was not well. He was really, really not well. And he never missed a live through that entire process, So I know if anything, if one of these two didn't show up, that it would make lots of us nervous, right? Because if it gets to that point and he still shows up, yeah, these guys are diehards. These guys I appreciate so much. I was actually thinking this year to ask you two, Owen, Andrew, are you guys planning to show up for the Christmas Eve party? We do a Christmas Eve party every year on Christmas Eve. We kind of hang out we start early, don't we? Because I open up my Christmas stockings and it takes a while sometimes to open up my stocking, but my sister always leaves me interesting things. She actually messaged me the other day demanding for the Christmas list. I've never asked anybody, and this is, there's nothing wrong with that because that's the way she likes to do Christmas. Make it real simple. What do you want? And you get what you want, right? But for me, it's always that thought of Christmas, that thought of thinking of somebody and actually putting in some thought. What would warm their heart? What would make them feel good? This is how I think about Christmas anyway. When I want to show the people I care about how much I'm actually paying attention to them and what they need and what they like, right? My sister Tracy's very much a giver, right? But you have to stay in line. And if you're an individual and if you're your own person, it's really hard to be underneath that dictatorship sometimes, right? And I don't give my sister Tracy enough credit, I don't think, because she really ran a good show. We all, each brought our talents to the family, and sometimes we mess up, sometimes we go down the wrong road, sometimes we make bad decisions. But she did the best by us, I truly think. And even though that's not the life I choose, and that was the problem with me and her hanging out, I was living a life more to her choosing. The more she wanted to live her life, I just kind of fit my life around her. Now I want so much more for myself. I just can't bring myself to even go back to that kind of relationship, right? I think I'm doing so good. I think I'm doing so good. And it takes some time, right? Because there's a little bit of heartbreak in that because you're very dependent on each other. You get to know their good points and their bad points, and you get to appreciate them for both, right? You can appreciate them for both because the bad points are always ways that they're coping with something, right? Or how they have a misunderstanding about something. Or, like I was saying when I first came in, a difference. They're just different, right? They see it differently in your eyes. But when you hang out like that, because I truly believe we all rub off on each other, we all turn into the people that we allow ourselves to be around, to influence us and stuff. And this is why I like to choose my own influencers. I like to go out there, and I'm very lucky that Google is actually, I've spent time in Google in YouTube, and I'm sure lots of you have spent time in YouTube, and you got to the point where YouTube is doing pretty good by suggesting different content that they think that you might be interested in. And I do believe that YouTube has done an amazing job. Amazing job. I find lots of the stuff that they send to me super interesting. And every once in a while they actually send me a message and just ask permission. Oh, do you want to see something a little bit interesting or a little bit different? And then I get introduced to other things, but it's always in my choice of what I want to watch and what I want to bring into my life, and like all of us, right? So I was doing a little bit of appreciating, but I was thinking about the Christmas party, right? Oh, yes, definitely, Andrew. Church is more important, right? If this happens to be the year, right? And just be safe. Keep your mask on, even if everybody's practicing, just distancing and not wearing their mask. I would urge you to wear your mask, even though we're double vaccinated and stuff. We're still catching that virus. That virus is still getting to us through the variances, right? So, and people are slamming. You see all this stuff all over the world about the vaccinations and people protesting. I'm not paying attention to all of it, but it runs across my path just to give me the heads up of what's going on. And I still don't know if it's going on or if it's expanded or not. But, I have to think, even though we are still getting those variances, we're not dying from it, right? Those vaccinations are protecting us and is actually saving lives. And that's not what's being taken into consideration. It's all about taking away our rights and stuff like that. But, we're a world community, and because of my beliefs in majority rules, that, everybody has to go along with the decision, right? That's the decision. So how can you argue with that? And I know lots of you have got decisions, right? But it's my concern for people's lives, right? So people don't take into consideration the fact that yes, people are still getting sick from even though they're double vaccinated, they're not dying, they're not clogging up the hospital systems with intensive care unit patients, right? Like it would be if these viruses were spreading a lot more harsher, right? So it's hard, right? Because we are trampling over people's boundaries, right? And it is kind of that idea, the cost of a few for the value of the many, and you have to think of these different things. And again, these are different ideas, right, not wrong. And just the way I brought up majority rules, and it makes things simple. It makes things understood. It avoids conflict. It avoids people getting hurt or worse. And this is how I feel about it. But again, like I said, I don't get to choose for you. I don't, right? I can only choose for myself. But, my views should be expressed, right? Because I am only looking out for lives, right? I'm only looking out for souls to have the opportunity to grow, right? Instead of it being cut short and starting all over again, right? Because that's a long process. The longer your life and the more you're aware of all of this, right? It gives you a better opportunity to move forward. Yeah, people don't realize that. That's why I hate end of life early period, right? I do believe that we should all take care of ourselves to the best of our abilities at all time. I actually asked my sister for some vitamins because all I've got is one more vitamin. I think just two more multivitamins. I'm going to be out of my multivitamins in 2 days, and I need B12s. I need my B12s too. Yeah. we have a big bottle of vitamin C's at work, just sitting in the lunchroom that we all take the vitamin C's just to stay healthy and stuff. I thought that was a good idea. And it was a really good flavor. I don't know if anybody has tried the new, who makes them, Johnson and Johnson. I think they make peach vitamin C tablets. Oh my goodness, they're so delicious. They're like candy. And I've got to be careful too. So no more than one a day, right? Maximum two a day, maximum. But yeah, I in the wintertime here in Canada especially, and it's not because we don't get lots of sun that we need all this vitamin D and why we need the vitamin C, right? It's the fact that we spend so much time indoors in the winter because of the cold. It kind of locks people down, right? I love the outdoors. I still go outside. I still try to spend uh at least every second day, spend some decent time outside. I try to do one nature explore, even if it's just going for a walk, but making it a long walk, bundling right up and going for a long walk. I'm waiting for, it's just getting cold now where the wet snow and the vapor is coming out of the air. So once we have our first dry snowfall, it's going to be beautiful. And I'll make sure I go for a walk, and I'll take everybody for a walk because I now have my new wireless microphone, you guys. So we could start those adventures up. Now it's going to be slow for the little while, right? Because we're going to have to do those adventures pretty much in the city until I get my car, which is the plan for May. We're going to have a car for May. And I'm hoping to get a Dodge Nitro. So if you don't know what a Dodge Nitro looks like, they discontinued them in 2011. Yes, the dream for the Jeep Rubicon, right? Yeah, Wrangler, Unlimited, 2021. That's still in the plans, and I'm still manifesting it. I still want those big tires and the big bull bar and that strip lighting and the fog. I want all of that. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for it to be delivered to me, right, which should be here quite shortly, I would be happy just to get back on the road. I would be happy and grateful for my Dodge my Dodge Nitro, and they stopped making them in 2011. But I think they're probably the biggest SUV, and if they're not, they're pretty close. They're a pretty big SUV, but they discontinued them for some reason. They weren't very popular, but they were one of my favorite vehicles. As soon as they hit the road, oh my goodness, I wanted one, but I could never afford one. And they came out the same time as the FJs. Do you guys know the FJs? I love the FJs too, but they don't make the FJs anymore either, I don't think. Oh, William's here. Hello, William. I hope your week is settling down and you're dealing with things much better than you were last week. I hope things are going well for you. Let's take a look at some of these. Oh, yeah, Andrew. I know Christmas Eve. Yes, definitely very important that you make it to church on Christmas Eve if all possible, no matter what your denomination. What a great day, especially if you're not a big prayer, if you don't look to grace and you don't say thank yous lots, if you don't really spend time in appreciation and gratefulness for the things that you have, that you take these days like Thanksgiving and Remembrance Day. And then, we have Christmas. Like, these holidays are meant for us to give reverence, to acknowledge and yeah, take every opportunity, especially right now, right? I have no idea. People are just kind of going a little wacky out there, you know but it's nice to see that they're honest about it, because in their honesty, they allow other people to have honesty. And this is how we get through things, to know that we're not in it alone, that we're all dealing with our own stuff. We're all dealing with our own troubles, right? It's really, really hard moving through life sometimes. And sometimes we have to sometimes we're just dictated to be spectators, right? And sometimes we're dictated to be participants. Sometimes we're meant to be free. Sometimes we're meant to be beholden to each other. The idea is to be able to move with whatever one is dictating your life, to be able to move with it comfortably, right? I could kind of see where all this is going for me sometimes. And if I think about it for too long, it could be very scary. But I think this was the plan, right? I think if my life had been dictated in any other way, it wouldn't have manifested the way that it had. I wasn't meant to. It was an accident. I could see where the mistakes were made. It was an accident, but I don't think I was ever meant to wake up to this. I think I was only a backdrop. I was only right, second in command. I would have thought that my sister Tracy would have led the charge going forward. I really thought that, and I thought, oh, I would make a great second for my sister Tracy. She's a great salesman. She loves to run things from her. She's an armchair. She likes to run things from her armchair or from her wallet, either or, right? Which ends up usually the same thing. And because I have so much energy, and because I love that party planning and stuff like that, right? This is stuff that I found fun, right? The entertainment, the setting up, the getting things presented properly. And yeah, I'm just rambling all over the place. Who else is in here today? Oh, Angry Birds is in here today. Hi, dear. Nice to see you pop in. We missed you last week. Unless I know sometimes you don't always join in on the conversation, but I noticed last week that you didn't join in when I said say hi, right? If you're out there, Angry Birds, and you didn't reply, so I assumed that you didn't make it. So I'm glad to see that you're here this week. And hi, William. Hi, William. And hold your ground on that, right? Just hold your ground on that, William. And just run with it. However that plays out, just run with it honestly, William. Just and because that will always be the best plan, always, right? Otherwise it just turns into poison and it'll just get worse. So yeah. Oh, Melvin's here. Hi, Melvin. It's all the guys here. Mary Kay's not making it tonight. She's not here just yet, but maybe she's at work, right? Maybe she's pulling some overtime. I never asked her about that, if she plays alternate shifts, right? The way that she's scheduled, if there's a span there where she actually has to work Sunday nights, right? Yeah. But back to what I was saying about religions and s- making space for prayer and for just being with yourself, right? Just for making sure that you're taken care of, and having gratefulness in that. And unless sometimes lots of us, unless we have these holidays, we're not reminded of them, right? It doesn't come to our mind that these should be days to be remembered, right? That there was something important about these days that actually helped to move us forward. Maybe that's right. If you actually look at it that way, what do you guys think about that? Right? That's why we have reverence, is to pay tribute to those, right? That help to build on our character and our growth and our evolution. right? That contributed so much to the well-being of mankind. It's an interesting topic, I think, to think about, right? I made a big cup of coffee tonight because I was just, Sunday nights I usually make that big cup of coffee, because we ramble. We ramble for an hour and a half, and that's a guarantee too. Today I was really happy because I was actually able to get some laundry done, get some amazing lessons in, have a little bit more understanding of how things actually played out for me, and right, and how if they were played out in any other way, like even to some of those smallest details, like if some of those things didn't happen, that it would be a totally different story for where I'm sitting right now. It's really quite amazing how things work out. I actually do think that I think sometimes, if you want to hear where my silly brain goes, is that we're actually helping to create the best human being out there, that we all get a chance and an opportunity to connect with something bigger than us. Sometimes we have experiences that make us wake up to different understandings that we might have even understood an hour before, but sometimes it takes these miraculous events that just change us. And I've had some of those. Definitely I've had some of those, but I never attributed them to anything greater than me. I just took them to the miracles of the world, right? The magic of the world. Maybe it was from watching too much Walt Disney and cartoons or something when I was a kid. But when, these amazing things that shouldn't have happened in my life, right? I never gave them a second thought. And going back, maybe I didn't be grateful for them. I definitely acknowledged when they were happening, but to be grateful for those beautiful things in my life that could have made a totally different story, right? But then I think also each one of those events in my life, what if they were dictated, right? If I filled up the gap between everything else except for those big moments in my life, right? That produced, like, what do you call those kind of locks with the numbers, right? That go round and round, that we had in school for our lockers. Now I can't remember if you guys know what I'm talking about, but yeah, like one of those, a combination lock. Yes, a combination lock, and those spots that happen, right, is the combination to make up the person that I've become. What are the odds of that happening? So I kind of think of these things, right? That if I had made a different choice, I would be in a different spot. So if I believe in that our soul keeps coming back, coming back, coming back, what if there's more me's out there? Look different lives, right? That made different choices in a different space. And there's a different Cindy out there doing something totally different than what I'm doing here. I think of these things. I go that far, right? I go that far. I go further than that. But it's not that I'm spacing out on it or anything like that. And it's not like I have a definite need for that information, only if it's meant for our emotional intelligence, only if it's meant to make us feel better. If I could some way make it so everybody, right, just understand that everything's going to be okay, right? There's just so much crazy out there. Yeah, I think there is. Anyway, I think it's mass hysteria, and that's why I think I don't spend a lot of time. Right. And it's funny because I work in social media, and that's funny too that I even say I work in social media, because it's not like I'm making any money or anything, right? But this is my passion. I show up here all the time because, right? But I kind of think that, right, it's my responsibility, right, to show and share what I think, right? That maybe somebody out there might resonate with what I think. Yeah, because it's worked for me. It truly is. Oh my goodness, in a time when people are losing jobs and not getting their financial needs taken care of, the government, if they're on government assistance, I'm sure they're having difficulties. There's cutbacks everywhere. Even here in Winnipeg, oh my goodnesses, the businesses that are closed, the restaurants that are closed, and the restaurants that are just open for skip the dishes and they're not actually open for customers and stuff. But there are some restaurants you walk by and you see that they're really full. There's lots of people in there and stuff. So there are some really popular spots that people use for meetup. People have to be social. This being online is amazing. It gives us an opportunity to build on communication and get to know each other and know how to build in friendships, because like Owen and Andrew, like we share we share emails, number one, and I don't do that with a lot of people, right? So we do communicate off site of this platform, and we got projects underway. I was hoping Kathy was going to come in because I had something I wanted to ask Kathy about. I thought maybe I came up with an idea, but maybe I'll send her a DM. A DM is a direct message that we're able to do on Instagram. So if you want your Christmas card, the only safe way to send me your email is through the DMing me it on Instagram. So if you want a Christmas card from me, I got my cards. They're really cute. Should you guys want to see the Christmas cards that I picked? I think they're right here. Oh, they're buried for sure. I've got all kinds of stuff in there. But I want to try. I want to try. Okay, I think I got it. No, I don't. Okay. Yeah, but I do. I have some really, really cute Christmas cards that I got for everybody this year. I want to get my Christmas cards out next week, if at all possible. I'm working on Oh, I want to show you guys this. I think I found a gallery piece. This person, if you Google him, his name is John Davidson, Canada, 1969. He was an artist out of Quebec. And I got this piece. Look at the stem. It's like a tree band. It's actually worked in just perfectly. And if you can look really close, you can see up at the top there, they look like how it's like branches and roots have actually connected to the mug itself. And inside, look at the texture. Look at the texture in there. It's just, I've never seen, it's simple, but everything about it just screams quality. So I actually Googled this. I got this for $1.50. I paid $1.50 for this. Yeah, and it could be worth hundreds of dollars. It could be worth, see the bottom, it's a signed piece. Boom. There you go. If somebody wants to get some research, Andrew, if you want to do some research on him for me, I would love to see what you come up with. I just hopefully you can see that clearly and you can write that down. But yeah, I love this. I love this. It's one of my favorite pieces on the whole thing. It's covered right now, but I have lots of amazing pieces of earthenware. I don't know how I came so attached to it. I think again, maybe it's because of my love for archaeology and history. I watch a lot of burial openings, when they have archaeological finds in Egypt or in Syria. There's a lot in Turkey. There's lots going on in Turkey right now. Believe it or not, there's lots going on in Scotland and oh my goodness, in China. Oh my goodness, they might have found the very earliest civilizations, Chinese civilizations ever. Yeah, so they're working on their own history things. But yeah, what was I talking about? Oh, the earthenware. So I think it has something to do with the burial funerary, because they used a lot of pottery and stuff. And I always had this dream that I would just love to make my own little pyramid, right? But somewheres where it would never be noticed, like buried in the side of a mountain or in the dirt or something. And then there's this one princess in China, and I would want to be buried like her because she had a concrete coffin. She had a concrete coffin laid open on concrete, right? To help to keep the bacteria down and everything. And then she had another box of concrete, lidded concrete. Then her room was leaded concrete. And then it was almost like a moat, right? Like around the whole structure. And then a big slab of concrete across the top. And this is ancient history, right? And what it did is so that the oxygen didn't get in there at all. And they got her out, I think, 2018. And she was a princess. I think she was a princess. She was part of the royal court anyway. And yeah, she was part of the royal court, but her skin was still soft. Her skin was still soft. You can Google her. It's a hard name. It starts with XP, I think. XP. And if you just Googled something like Tomb Discovery XP China, it should pop up right away. And then just down, and you can even limit it to the past year, and that would actually help in finding it too. It's really, really interesting. But I think that's why I like earthenware, because I myself would love to have a little tomb, right? But I would love to tomb myself, and I would have all my favorite things. Maybe that's why I have so many smalls, that I collect so many smalls now, right? And I never did before, but I do now. It's obvious that I do like smalls. But you know what? I can live with that, because if that makes part of me happy, right? If that makes part of me happy, then of course, right? And it's only pennies, because I don't pay like a high price. I don't buy these things brand new. I can't remember, besides groceries, that I don't buy stuff new, right? Cat litter. Well, that's kind of in the grocery budget too, right? But yeah, everything I have is secondhand, and I get some nice things. I'm not disappointed in anything that I have, and I'm definitely grateful. And I don't need a holiday to appreciate, because I think my appreciation comes from, well, I guess maybe a little bit for the past couple of years that I've had, maybe the past couple of decades that I've had, maybe my life, right? But whatever, it's all good. I'm grateful for all of it, because again, if none of that happened, if a lot of that was dictated already and I didn't have a choice, right? It was happening anyway. Well, it worked. I'm here now, no worse for wear, and that's how I look at it. And actually, if you don't mind, I'm actually going to pull Andrew's stick here. My brother-in-law said he would bring me his well, I actually asked him for a hand grinder, for not what do they call them, osculating hand one, though, so that I could quickly get this done, because when I varnish it, it's going to need a couple of weeks to dry before it's going to be ready for shipping. Because if I try to ship it when it's not ready, the packaging will stick to the cane, right? But yeah, I'm just sanding it down. I'm trying to make it all nice and smooth. And I like the knots. I like the knots. I like the color. I like the color in it. And the more I can maybe grind this down a little bit more, that I can bring out the color even more on that. And yeah, it's a pretty straight one. I'm pleased with how this went. And then up here, you see you have a little bit of a curve there, Andrew, so that you'll be able to grip it good. And then also I got you a new I don't know what do they call cane tip. Yay. Right? I got you a new cane tip for it. This one's a good one, right? But I don't want you to change all. Yeah, that's a good one. But this one's better. But this one's better. So I'm going to put it on this one. Maybe I'll take a look at Owen's. Maybe I'll take a look at Owen's stick and see which kind of stopper I put on his. And then if it's feasible, maybe I'll put this one on because this is a really good one. Yeah, it's actually really good. And I don't think you get a lot of snow there in Bloomington, Indiana, do you there, Andrew? So I don't think you need anything heavy duty. This one would be good if you had a lot of snow, or, well, you like to use the claw too, but the claw wears on the tip too. So for sanding, I adapt, I conquer. I have different grades. I have different kinds of sponges in different grades. I have these little sponges in different grades. Um, I have this, and I just attach sandpaper to it because it's Velcro. So I buy felt back sandpaper, and then I just stick it to it, and it just sticks really nice. And I just grab a piece like this, and I sand with a little piece of sandpaper. Here, I used to work in a cleaning company, and we used to find these grinding tips in the uniforms, right? So we would have to take them out and throw them away. But I would get the girls to save them for me, right? Because they're amazing for really taking bulk off a stick. And just to show you how amazing it is. And this is meant to use on a wheel. But I would just sit here and just do this, and it just digs right in there, and it just really, really nice. Now I can see all my knots. I have a little bit more to do, but I thought while we're having a chit chat, I'm just going to get the right grade here. While we're having a chit chat, that maybe I could just work on the stick, right? Because it's an opportunity. I'm sitting here anyway, right? I'm sitting here anyway. Okay, let's see what you guys are up to. Who's in here now? Anybody? Oh, Sharon's in here. Hi, Sharon. Kathy, you made it in. Kathy, I don't mean to put you on the spot there, but I was taking a picture. I guess I had some pictures on file. I was looking for some pictures for some Instagram posts, and I downloaded some, and I came across the pictures that I was taking of the Mystic, right? The Mystic Wander picture that you did for me. And in the spur of the moment, I came up with the most amazing idea. And I says, oh, I'll ask Kathy when she comes in if she would be agreeable to it. And if she is, then maybe I could do it. I was thinking I want to do a post on the Mystic Wanderer, right? Dream big, right? My dream big on this picture here. I'm going to get this off. And just in case you guys have never seen this, I want everybody to see this, right? Kathy colored that for me, you guys. Look at that. And she mailed it to me from Nova Scotia. Isn't that the most amazing frame? It has absolutely no glare on it at all, right? It's a glass cover too. And look at right up in my camera. And absolutely, even up in the light, look at that. And there's absolutely no glare. I love this frame. I love this frame. What a good pick I did. Right? And dream big. And she signed it. She signed it for me and she sent it to me from Nova Scotia. Look at, she's got a flying saucer. She's got one of these, right? She's got one of these in her hands. Just like I do. Little cage with the butterflies, right? Or moss, or fireflies, right? Use your imagination and the history. Look at her outfit, right? The pentaloom underneath, the candy. Yeah, I love this, right? But my idea was that I wanted to write a post for Instagram on it. You know how I write, right? And I thought, oh, but maybe I could do a series for a month and maybe Kathy would collaborate with me and send me pictures of three of her favorites. And then I would get inspired by each one of them and get inspired by, I don't know, maybe something amazing to see what I could channel to write something beautiful about these pictures, right? And it would be just shared on my Instagram. Now, if you would let me know, Kathy, if you would be okay, right? If you would be okay with doing that, if you would, or if you maybe, if you don't want to, if I'm twisting your arm and something you would rather not, I'm perfectly fine. My feelings won't be hurt. But the way I see it, this picture is mine, Kathy, so I'm going to do it anyway for at least this one. But if you would, and then maybe when you see what I write, maybe if you could see how I'm going to use it for inspiration, you know, I think the topic for this one would be, it takes all kinds to make the world. I think. Oh, good, Kathy. Yes, a collaboration between me and you. But I was thinking, right? It takes all kinds to make the world. That would be, right? Or something about the adventure or moving forward. I'm going to spend some time now that I got the okay. Now that I got the okay, I'm going to spend some time with this picture because I do love it. It's beautiful, right? It's beautiful. And then I thought I would share the picture on the Instagram and write something, I don't know, however the picture inspires me. So that will be the collaboration, right? And don't tell me anything about how it inspires you, Kathy, or anything. It's just one of your favorite pictures, or maybe a picture that had a special story or a special spot in your heart. And then just send it to me and let me see and tell the story of what I see and how I feel about it. And it might be an amazing collaboration, Kathy. It might be an amazing collaboration, right? Because I really love what you're doing on your channel. I really love the community that you have with your brand there, Kathy. I know it's difficult, but there are people out there that just have chit chats on YouTube channels as they're painting their or coloring their artwork. Like, you could do something like that where people wouldn't even have to see you. I'm not pushing it. I'm happy that you said okay for the colorings. Yeah. So yeah, if that sounds good, Kathy, with you, yeah, send me 3 or 4 of your pictures, and let's do a weekly series where one day a week that I will post something, and let's see what kind of interest we could drum up with that, because your pictures are beautiful and the community I'm in would appreciate the beauty of your colorings. And not only that, it's another way for us to expand, right? It's another way to introduce new people to our content, right? And I do have some beautiful beautiful people. And I think on Instagram, because it's in the moment, that maybe we could maybe drum up some interest in them, right? Because they are beautiful colorings. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that frame, eh? Isn't that a great frame? Because glass usually reflects where you can't even see the picture, and you could see every detail. See that? That's Kathy's coloring. Isn't she beautiful? Like it's just all just blended in so perfectly. Yeah, I loved it. And I told her how much I loved it. And she threw it in an envelope and she sent it to me. Yeah, it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorites. It's going to be with me until it's dead. I mean, not when it's dead. It's going to be with me until I'm dead. It's going to be always hanging on my wall, because what it is a reminder. It is a reminder to dream big. And actually, you know what? Such a silly girl. Of course, that is the topic, right? Of course, that is the topic, to dream big. Oh my goodness. How could it be? How could it be? How could it be anything else? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kathy, for saying yes. Yes, contact me and let me know. Send me some pictures. You know how to do that, right? But yeah. Yay. So there we go. So another collaboration. I love that. I don't know. I've been downloading all my Instagram lives and stuff. It's pretty heavy. I'm pretty heavy into my mindset now, right? I have a serious growth mindset, and it's taking me places, and it's helping me to find solutions for, wow, right? It's even if it's not something I need, it's still something I'm interested in, because I have this passion and this need to make sure that we get through all this hairy scary as normal as we can, right? There's a lot of messed up information out there. There's a lot of sources out there that are drawing on our attention, right? Everybody vying for our attention, and I'm really lucky that you guys give me your attention on Sunday night. I hope that I earn that privilege of your subscription 100%, because it's always my intent, right? Yeah, I love every single one of you guys. I'm so grateful that you've been with me for all these years, right? For most of you. Holy moly. Let me look at these comments. Aw. I do. I do have curious mindset too, but that could be a fault of mine too, because that could also make it so that I get sidetracked quite easily. So I tend to delve into subjects. So when I get into something, like today is a very strange day for me for content, because usually I'll put a video on or a lesson on, right? And I will just stay in that video, and then after it's over, I'll let YouTube suggest the next one for me, right? Today I've got all these windows open, right? Yeah. Yeah, I got all kinds. Yeah, I'm watching a little bit of Jordan Peterson and Lewis House. What I got here? Um, the tarot priestess. Yeah, tarot priest. Yeah, she's really good. And I think this is also something too, that they rely on the presentation, on the things that are accepted, right? And the cards are accepted and stuff, instead of talking straight from their hearts. Because if you watch some of the ones that I follow, they're actually just talking from their hearts, and when they're reading their cards, they're just telling the stories of the cards as they're reading them. But they're also getting that information from another source, right? 100%. Yeah. So it's these are just tools that they use to present it. I I use my cup of coffee. I use my cup of coffee and my interest in history and urban exploration and mother nature, right? I try to do everything in good cheer. I don't worry about the big stuff. There's a lot of big stuff going on in this world. Lots of stuff that we could be dwelling on right now. And I tend to whoops, let's get back to my live here. I tend to stay away from that. Now I keep in enough to keep myself updated on what's going on. That's how come I know what's going on in Europe with people, right? But it's not something I dwell in. Oh, the people in BC, right, with the mudslides and the flooding and stuff. Wasn't that something? They got pretty beaten up in the past few years, but everybody's getting it. It's just wow. It's just everywhere's, right? And it's impacting us greatly, right? I wish my friend Cindy from Cindy Vlogs was in here tonight, right? Because I tell her, give us some ideas, give us some great ideas on ways to maybe put things away or get set up just in case things got really difficult and we had to depend on ourselves where there wasn't a reliable medical system, or we didn't have money for groceries. Did we have other accesses, whether it's with gardens or bartering, or do we have skills that we can bring to the table if you were able to get into a community and a kind of, I'm not talking about we're going into survival, and I'm not talking about survivalists in general where we're actually doing dugouts and stuff, but just being stockpiled that if there is a crisis, right? If for some reason the pensions get cut off, maybe this is coming to my mind because I'm getting my pension this month. This is my first month, you guys, that I get a pension. I'm absolutely amazed. I don't even feel close to 60 years old. You guys, I don't even feel close to being 60 years old. And yet here I am, right? Yet here I am and grateful to be here, grateful to be healthy, grateful not to be taking medication and suffering aches and pains, right? Because I know lots of people suffer out there, right? But we all suffer. Like I said, some of our disabilities are emotional, some of our disabilities are financials, some of them are physical, right? Some of them are mental, and some of them are a combination, right? So just some are more visible than other disabilities, and we just have to accept our own disabilities with gratefulness, right? That at least we're right, because we could be in a different place, we could be in a different mindset. Ah, it's a strange and wondrous world, and I'm happy to be along for the ride. But again, it can be emotional, and it can be a bit of a struggle and a pain in the butt, but yeah, it's still fun. I'm still happy to be here. Oh, that's nice of you to say, Owen. Oh, Andrew, what a great idea. I love that survival tip. I have one too. I have one too. I watched this lady. She's a financial bigwig advisor in New York or something. She deals with all the big, not big world companies, but big organizations that actually run the world. And she delves in the market and stuff. And she actually keeps a fruit bowl in the middle of her dining room table, and it's filled with not scrap jewelry, scrap cutlery, sterling silver cutlery that she picks up at the Goodwill store she visits. And this woman has got lots of money and stuff, right? But she says you need to have the sought after things in position where money isn't going to make a difference to you. You have to have something solid, like if you need to barter to get on a ferry to get across the river or something like that, that you should have gold and silver. And she said the best way is just to go into the Goodwill stores and look at the jewelry counter and to look in the cutlery bins and look at the pots and pans and see what kind of metal resources are there that you could either scrap or use as barter as you move along in difficult situations, right? Oh, Nancy made it in here tonight. Yeah, great idea. Great idea. Yeah, when I always keep jugs of water in the fridge. I save those 4 liter milk bottles and I fill them up with water, and I don't drink out of them or anything, but they're there for emergencies. And then once a month I dump them and then I fill them up again with fresh water. But they're always there for an emergency. And if there was ever any really big emergency, then I would do things like fill up every container in the house, fill up the bathtub full of water, right? Make sure that I boil absolutely everything. Oh, what happened, Nancy, with the channel? Yeah, keeping water, but yeah, lots, even like picking up eggs and pickling the eggs, right? Pickling eggs. 100%. Well said, Sharon. It's just one trouble after the other. But Nancy, I hope you're enjoying your train set again. Have you been using it this week? Has it been helping to keep your system calm? Have you been enjoying it? I hope so. What? Oh, somebody's not treating you well, Nancy. Somebody's following you on the platforms and causing you problems. Yeah, for some of the content that I put out there, I would expect to have people say not nice things, but it never happened. Well, I'm not going to say it never happened. I had one really, really bad one time, but it on the norm, it doesn't happen. And this person who did this, he had some problems on his own, and I appreciate that he had some problems, right? But and in the end it was great that I said something, because now the solution was that we just don't hang out, and that I don't have that influence in my brand anymore, right? He was another urban explorer. Yeah, he was doing not nice things, and I kind of said something on it, right? Yeah. And it's my own fault because I have problems when it comes to drinking and stuff. Like I understand it's a problem, but encouraging, right? A problem is something you have to keep it to yourself. You can't influence your problems on other people. And that's what happens like with drugs and stuff, right? Because the kids are learning to pick up these habits from the influences in their life, right? And some people, they just can't get away from those influences. I have no idea how I did not become an alcoholic. I don't even like the taste of alcohol, and yet I worked in a bar for almost 15 years. I all my friends drank. My husband drank, right? So many drinkers in my life. My sister drank for a little while, right? My grandpa was an alcoholic, like one of those ones who slept in bus shacks, right? That was my grandpa. I have no idea how that didn't influence me in any way, but I just didn't like alcohol. And then again, I had other bad habits that took money, right? And drinking takes a little bit of money because alcohol is not cheap. So probably I was too cheap, right? Maybe it was my cheapness that made it that I didn't want to drink, but I didn't like alcohol anyway. So it was an easy sacrifice for me. And that money went into my own addictions, which was those video lottery terminals in gambling, right? Yeah. And that's what, I've almost felt like doing a video saying that the that past couple of years, that problem that we've had for the past couple of years actually saved my life because it shut everything down. The whole world got shut down. You couldn't go to the bars and to the casinos and go places to gamble. So I was almost forced into quitting gambling, right? Well, I don't know if I was forced into it, but who's to say that I might not have had a relapse and say, oh, I was so broke that I said, oh, let's just take this last $20 and let's see if we can turn it into $100 so you can pay your hydro bill, right? Right? There's a chance that I might have done that because that's how much I liked gambling. I don't even do lottery tickets anymore. Yeah, I'm done with gambling. I saw what I had done to my life. I saw what I had done to my marriage with gambling. My marriage falling apart had something to do with the gambling, even though my husband said no, right? But I'm pretty certain we were just different people, right? But that gambling made me a different person. Gambling made me be sneaky and not be able to tell my husband the truth. And I never lied to my husband, right? But when it came to gambling, I would lie to my husband. You'd wonder why I didn't bring cigarettes home or why I didn't bring a quart of milk home or why I didn't put gas in the car. And I was always covering my stories up with reasons because I couldn't tell him that I was putting our money into and that's how I figured it was our money. I might have made, I made quite a bit. Well, maybe we made a little bit. Maybe we made about the same amount of money. We both made money, but we were both very wasteful with money. We were very much alike when it came to personalities, and we didn't really hold reign over each other in any way. That might have been a problem. I think part of the problem also, right? Because we didn't hold each other accountable. We didn't we tried to please each other, tried to find out what each other liked and made sure that that person had their needs taken care of. But that little bit extra that makes life enjoyable, those little things that you love to go off to do together, we weren't much in the way of friends. We were lovers. We were confidants, right? We were husband and wife, but I wasn't looking to be clung to, and I wasn't looking to cling to anybody. I just wanted to share the same domain with him, basically, right? And let him live his life the way I wanted to live my life. And thinking that was a great way because he was all into that, right? But he was 10 years younger. He wasn't ready to stop partying, right? And by the time I started getting older, it was time for me to start having babies if I was going to have babies. And I don't know why I'm sharing this now, but yeah, and it just worked out that way, right? Because I started whining for babies and stuff, and he got scared, and right, he wanted me to have the babies, and right, he promised me we were gonna have kids only because I knew he didn't want kids. I had to make him promise that I could have kids before I'd even marry him, and he promised, little liar. But he did want me to have kids. He wanted me to have what I wanted, right? So, yeah, he let me have that divorce, but it didn't work out for me anyway. It wasn't in the cards. It was meant to be, right? The things that I thought, the things that I believed in were realized, and I never believed that I was going to have that amazing husband and that husband home and family that I wanted so much, right? Right? And because I believed that, it was realized very clearly realized. I'm a different person now, right? And it doesn't make much good for the past, but it's better late than never. So it'll help me course correct and make better decisions along the way, right? Do you alternate compresses on your legs there, Andrew, I'm sure, I'm not sure whether or not you're still doing physio or if you're doing your own physio now, but I knew it was really important because I had an issue because of concrete floors, right? I used to work in cafeterias in big plants, whether it was a plastics plant, and I think different kinds of plants, car plants, mechanics plants, farming equipment, making like the John Deere tractors and stuff, those kind of plants. And there was shift, and I worked in those places. Now I've kind of lost my train of thought. What was it? Had something pertinent to ruining my feet. Yeah, on the concrete floors because these plants were always in concrete floors, and I would always wear those cheap Walmart runners, and they would wear down. And I got that where all my tendons got all inflamed and everything on the bottom of my feet. It went on for 9 months. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think. I couldn't do anything. I almost had to quit my job because I couldn't do anything, right? Because all I could do was concentrate about on the pain. But after a while, I ended up having to do my own physio, right? Because the insurance runs out. And it turned out that it was the alternating between heat and cold. So I would immerse my legs in cold water, then I would immerse them in hot water, right? Then I would immerse them in cold water again, and then I would do it in room temperature water, and then I would get out of the tub, right? And it helped out lots because it's the cold. The cold will help with the inflammation. The heat will help with comfortability just for the moment, right? Because that cold is miserable, but it'll bring the inflammation down, right? It'll bring the inflammation down and take that pain away, right? For a while. And if you can keep that up, then maybe the inflammation would be a lot less, but people are not very tolerant. I don't do cold waters. In the circle I run in, they're all doing cold showers and cold baths, right? To wake themselves up and get themselves motivated. I don't need any of that. I'm ready to go. When I wake up, I am. I'm ready to go. I'm energized. I'm not slacking off. I'm not, I got it, right? I don't do that. I look forward to my day, to what I'm accomplishing. Even if I don't have anything planned by the end of the day, it's stuffed full of interesting things, and interesting topic, and interesting people, right? Yeah. Oh, that happened to my sister Andrew when she got in that car accident and she hurt her back. It spit the practice of the arthritis that she had in her spine, right? So a lot of the pain that now that she has, that she attributes to the car accident, is actually arthritic pain that she's got in her back. I'm sorry to hear that, Andrew. Ah. Yeah, those concrete floors are very damaging on the feet, right? Feet were never meant to be on concrete floors. And then with all our weight on those feet, yeah, it's not good. Yeah. Mm. But I don't know what to say. Oh, just kidding, because we were doing tips on how to survive, right? But we might as well do tips, right? That would just help us out just in this present moment, right? With me, I think a lot of my well-being is just simple affirmations. I truly believe that my affirmations, in my belief that I'm in good health, my constant reaffirming my understanding of my good health, I believe it gives me good health. And I can't explain it for anything else because nobody else in my family has good health. Nobody, right? And how many people my age don't suffer some form of aches or pains? It's incredible to me. Like, you know, I'm not going to feel bad for it. I'm not going to feel guilty for it. And I know you guys wouldn't want me to, right? Because you guys are suffering. I could see you guys are suffering. Even Sharon, too, right? She had to take physiotherapy before she could come and visit me here in Winnipeg. I remember, right, Sharon? You actually had to take physical therapy in order to come and visit me here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. We did lots of walks. We did lots of walks. She was actually a pretty good walking. She was an actually, yeah, Sharon was a very good partner when it came to walking because, I was trying to make things easier for her. If you want to sit down or go at a slower pace. But yeah, she was setting her pace herself 100%. Yeah. Yeah, walking every day, every day. Yeah. And I thought of picking up one of those pedometers. I know I have a lot of energy. Like even on a day off like today, I had to have put 10,000. I'm doing studies in between too, right? I get up, do something for 15 minutes, sit down, taking 5 minute or a 10-minute video, and I'm back up doing something else, right? And look at how much I've got done. I'm so excited to go sleep tonight, a day off. Sundays is the only day that I don't set the alarm. I'm up at 7 o'clock every morning. Now I get up. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I've been waking up just a few minutes before the 7 o'clock alarm, but I've been still staying in bed until about quarter after 7. So we're going to see if we could actually be out of bed pretty soon at 7 o'clock. But I'm pleased at where I'm at right now. And that extra hour in the morning is amazing. The only problem is I stay up a little bit late at night, and if I can somehow make it so that I don't feel like I'm missing out on life, and that's the thing because there's such a big span in the late night hours, right? I know because I used to live in those late night hours. I used to stay up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning every single day in, day out. For decades. For decades, I did that. I love those hours. And I think I love those hours is because the world felt like it belonged to me, right? I think it was my idea of escaping the world. During the day, it was just too busy. There was too much going on. And at night, me being the only one awake, right? Maybe it's why I like big picture windows and stuff because it just made me feel like I had the whole world to myself, right? Even I have an attachment to evening walks in the pitch black on these busy streets. And I love to go outside and I love to go for walks. I'm going to do, well, not tomorrow, Tuesday. Tuesday, I am going to go off and I'm going to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's going to be doing something with Mother Nature. Maybe I'll go up to Assiniboine Forest. Maybe I'll go down to the Forks. Maybe I'll go along the river, see if the river is frozen yet. If it is frozen, it's not safe to walk on yet. 100%. That's still probably few weeks away for sure. A few weeks away for sure. So I hope there's no deer or no dogs or anything crossing the river or thinking that they can cross the river, because it's possible if there's a little skim of ice and we had that snow, right? There's a chance that the animals could get stuck in that water and break through. And especially we don't want anything like that to happen to the people. But yeah, the snow is here. The snow is here now. 100%. The snow is here for the winter till March, I would say, end of March at the very least. Yeah. And come May is the plan. Dodge Nitro. That right. If I can't have my Jeep Rubicon, then I will settle for my Dodge Nitro. And my pension starting this month, I'll be able to put money away now and make sure that that happens. I'm going to see if I can invest a little bit more next month in medical needs. I don't know what I can do, but I need to spend $300 more so I can claim, because you have to have at least $1,000 to claim, and I have my glasses to claim for my income tax return, but it won't matter unless I have another $300, right, in some kind of medical expense. So we'll see how it goes there, right? Because I can't lie, I can't fudge those numbers, but I can figure out another expense. Maybe I don't know, maybe I don't know, something, because it really breaks my heart if that receipt has to go to waste and I can't have a little bit extra uh, rebated back to me for that investment that I'm very grateful for. I desperately needed these new glasses too. I desperately needed these glasses. Yeah, you know what? Even me, I was actually having this conversation with one of my customers just a couple of days ago. We were talking about the things we did when we were a little kid, how we used to hop buses. When I was a little kid, for the kids, buses were free. And my parents didn't care where I was. My dad was usually fishing. My mother was usually working. Well, maybe if she was working, I was babysitting, but if I had any time, right? I was always hopping buses and going places by myself. I did it all the time. All the time. I used to go down to Stanley Park and dangerous for little teeny weeny kids, right? But back in the day, it was safe. You would never worry about it. Now you would never even think to do something like that, let your kids go off like that. But I don't know if I don't know your opinion of this, Andrew. Is that our lack of caring for the kids? Is that our fear? Do we have something really truly to fear about that, or is this just a day and age that we live in, that we've become a little bit cautious, a little bit distrusting of others? Maybe because the masks come down. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that the masks come off and people are being more themselves, and we can see actually how different people really are, because we shouldn't be acting the same. We shouldn't be taking other people's characteristics, and we shouldn't have other people's religious ideas, political ideas. We should be individuals, and I think every single one of us here are individuals. And that's the amazing thing about how we get along and stuff, is because we get along and we're so different, right? We're so different from each other. Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think the answer is that we search out our networks through our values, through our experiences in life, right? Yeah, well, that's again good question there, William. And that's because we're all at different stages in our evolution. All of us. I truly believe each one of us is set in our community to hold some of that burden, right? To take on some of that yuckiness of the world. It just kind of, we just recycle it in our systems. Maybe that's what generates all this shine in us, right? As it comes in, it has to leave us. And when it leaves us, that's what's so shiny. I don't know. It's an idea, right? But you're right there. It's very noticeable, and that's part of the mask coming down in people. But I appreciate that, right? Because it's really hard when people don't tell the truth. See, I'm an empath, right? When people lie, people don't tell the truth. I find it to be very heartbreaking because I could see it's a lie, right? People won't look me in the face or they'll turn their heads around, but I can always tell because I just feel the untruth. I feel the guilt and the shame even in somebody's voice, even if they're trying to disguise it or brush it off. I feel it. I understand it. So I find it heartbreaking, right? So I appreciate that the masks come off, and I have no problem with different people. I have no problem at all with different religious ideas, different political ideas, right? I have no problem, right? Because I understand it takes all kinds to make the world, and I proc, you know, and it's not like we have to practice tolerance for one certain group. It's not that we should always be judging people. If you judge, right, we should always be looking at people for who they are as an individual, knowing that lots of people follow in a group for the safety of that group, for their own well-being. They have a place there, right? They contribute to that group's well-being, and in return that group contributes to that well-being, and we end up taking influences from each other that way, right? So we have to understand that it does take all kinds to make the world. Yeah, if you're looking at advocates, yeah, that's Sharon for sure. I was actually thinking about Sharon this way because it works into my idea of when you're not compulsed about certain subjects. Because sometimes, because I am in social media, because I share my journey. Sometimes I feel bad that I'm not more uh, intellectually knowledgeable in some of these current events that go on in the world. But that is on purpose on my part, right? Because that will just draw my attention away. It will give me things to stress about. It will give me things to worry about, and that's how I look at it, right? But I look at it also to the fact that there are people like Sharon out in the world where this is their calling, right? I'm called to something else. I'm called to working with emotions. I'm working with trauma. I'm working with, right, letting people know that everything's going to be okay, even through all that crap that we have to go through, that we think destroys us, right? That we could rise up through the ashes somehow just from our pure determination or our resilience or our understanding, right? That we just have to ride the waves. But then there are people, like I said, like Sharon, who is called to advocate for the better. And she does a lot of it. She doesn't talk a lot about it here on our Sunday nights. But I've had conversations with her, and she's, actually showed me some of her content and some of her ideas and expressions. And this is her calling. So I leave this in her hands, this topic that I don't have any interest in, that doesn't pull me to be compulsive about, because I know it's going to stress me out. It's going to worry me. It's going to, right? But I have Sharon, and Sharon, this is her calling. This is where her expertise lies. this is her, what she advocates for, right? So Sharon does it, right? Sharon does it. And she worries about it. She stresses about it, right? While I worry about the emotions and holding up and keeping going and never giving up and moving, right? I worry about those things because that's my calling, right? That's where I'm an expert in. And then maybe Sharon would trust to leave that aspect to me, right? And then we help each other out by just keeping each other updated because I trust Sharon. Me and Sharon have the same set of values because this is how we move forward in commonality, right? Because lots of people move forward by their political ideas. Some people move forward by their religious ideas, right? But if you're bumping heads and you're meeting amazing people who are in different political ideas and different religious ideas, this is a way for us to become friends and advocates for each other, right? Is by living and associating and interacting by our values. And we benefit from that, right? We're a community, right? We're a community. I know if anything bad happens and I say, here, Sharon, here's a plane ticket, right? Come and get involved. She'd be on a plane and she'd be up here, right? With her picket sign and charging and making phone calls and giving people their opinions. And she would have no problem in that. Just like if she was having a moment and she was having, right, problems in her life that she knows that she could write me an email, right? And I love your email, Sharon. Don't ever feel bad that you write long emails because I feel bad that my emails don't compare to the beauty and to the length of yours. So I think if we could just forgive each other on those, then we're good, right? But I'm grateful that you share these insights with me, and I hope it helps to unload some of the burden, because sometimes it's just writing these thoughts down, writing these ideas and expressing them sometimes that helps to alleviate some of that pain. And again, is that a contract? Is that a transaction? Is that part of the barter system? Maybe it's just friends, right? Caring for friends and giving to the table what they're capable of giving, right? Just like the little drummer boy, right? All he could give was to play his drums, and that's what he did. And it ended up being the best gift of them all. Ooh, that's a good way to end it. Isn't that a good way to end it? Everybody, it's 9:00. Let's see in the last bit of comments here. Let's see what everybody's got to say, what everybody's up to. 100% Andrew. But for right now, that might be a good idea, right? Those subgroups, and right, I get it. But I think we have to protect our emotions. I think we have to harden up in the moment. We have to cling to some of that resilience that, these traumas and these obstacles and these heartbreaks that we've had to overcome, where it's going to come in handy for us, where people are going to suffer and struggle. We're not going to have those problems because we've done it already. We've gone through that already, right? Bring it on. We don't want it, but bring it on. We're up for the challenge, right? We're up for that challenge. 100%. Everybody, thank you for popping into my live. Angry Birds, are you still here, dear? I haven't seen you pop into the comments in the past few minutes. If you're still here, say goodbye to me, dear. See, just looking down, 122. Just this year, 122 homicides. Oh my goodness, right? That's the fear. That's one, Sharon, that's the fear, right? Probably good people are swinging to the bad side, right? And these are probably people that you would never have guessed had any emotional issues, any problems, anything that they would have thought, right? That would cause them such grief that they would want to take their own lives or take the lives of somebody else. Oh my goodness. 100%. So you find your networks, you find your groups, 100%. Just like we have Sunday nights, right, you guys? And we continue these Sunday nights, right? No matter how bad it gets, as long as we have internet, and my heart goes out to Nancy, right? Always getting slapped down. But you know what? We just get right back up. We dust ourselves off and we just have to carry on. We don't give up here. We don't give up here. We adapt, we conquer, we keep moving, right? See how I'm still working on you, Andrew, on that thing. He's got that do not resuscitate thing on his cards. I don't like that. Right? Fight, 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 fight for every breath, for every opportunity for something to get better. Yeah. I'll convince him. I'll convince him sooner or later. I'll convince him. Just looking at some of these comments before we call it a night. Yeah, William, great insight that you had there, dear. Yeah, 100%. I hope everybody has a great week tonight. Mary Kay, I know you're going to pop in a little bit later tonight. We missed you. I noticed that you weren't here tonight. Robert, I knew you weren't here tonight. Dave, right? I know you're going to pop in later. Say hi in the comments when you pop in. Everybody, I hope you have a great week. I hope we see each other next Sunday. And thank you, Sharon. Thank you. Never. Oh, yeah. No, Sharon is definitely not a quitter. She is definitely not a quitter. None of us are. None of us are. We adapt, we conquer, right? We make changes in our lives. We'll mix things up. We have no problem starting over if we have to. And for most of us, we've done it many times. Okay, everybody. That's it for tonight. And don't forget, Christmas Eve, the 23rd, right? We're having our Christmas Eve party, 7 p.m. Central. We're starting Christmas Eve. 100%. It's going to be a good one this year. Pajama party. I'm wearing my pajamas on Christmas Eve. 100%. I'm wearing my onesie. I'll wear my onesie on Christmas Eve. Okay, everybody. Have a great night. Bye-bye.